A fan that runs and pulls in slow mode. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a really quite rare Sanyo VTC5600P, so VTC5600, and this one's a repair for Rich. Hi Rich, hope all is well with you. And it dates from about 1980. From what I understand, but this is incredibly advanced for what it is and the time. And just having a quick look around it, it's got sort of bits in the design that are sort of, well, really were taken for granted by the 90s, but some really cool bits and pieces in there. So the fault with it is it has playback issues insofar as it won't advance the tape, or I think it advances the tape, but it doesn't, it stops, it just cuts out. So yeah, I'll have a look at that. I have got a manual. It's the equivalent of the Fisher VBS6000, and this is a German manual, but it is just literally the electronic setup. There's nothing really mechanical in there, so I don't know how much use that's going to be, because I think I need to be looking at possibly mechanical with this one, but anyway, we'll see. What I do, I think, is take the top off. I've already taken the screws out, and we'll fire it up and see what it's doing. Let's crack on. So one interesting design thing with this is once you take the top off, the sides come off as well, which is quite neat for access. So I'm going to take those off anyway, because they'll probably fall off. And let's give it some power, and bring it to standby. Eject. Now the first thing that's wrong with it, for memory, yeah, is the lacing. So you've got to push it to get it to lace. Eject is a bit weird as well. So there is definitely something wrong. Yeah, see, it hasn't properly parked, or well, yeah, that's sort of like, yeah, still running the heads. Not ideal. I do wonder if it's something to do with the eject, but we shall see. The actual top loading mechanism, sort of, yeah, or the eject button. But yeah, so if I, well, fast forward, and it runs lovely. I believe Rich actually put on a new belt kit and idlers, I think, as well. I haven't actually checked what it does actually have. Looks to maybe have the original pinch roller, but that's fine. And rewind. And then play. It plays, but then stops. There's plenty of take up. Yeah, so I can feel a fair bit of take up tension there. So it's not like it's sort of the tape slack or anything. Pinch roller is engaging fine. I seem to remember the new fuses there. And I think when Rich got it, one of those fuses had a 3 amp mains plug fuse. This is quite interesting. But yeah, so what I'll do, let's have a look at the picture, see what the freeze frame's like, and give us an idea of the actual heads. And then we'll have to investigate what's going on with the lacing and the playback. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's press play and then immediately press pause. You can see the fan comes on, which is, I do find quite hilarious. It only comes on in pause, and I do wonder if it's just to give some airflow, because there's quite a bit of airflow this side of it. Why you'd want that, I don't know. Is it trying to do something? So if I press play, there's a bit of sound. No, it looks like it. Oh, does it? It's a bit weird that the fan keeps on going. If I press pause, fan comes on, and I go back to play, it stays on momentarily. But if I press play, it doesn't come on. So yeah, we'll investigate that anyway. That's a bit of a strange one. So let's eject it. Now the interesting thing with eject, if I press eject, it gives up almost straight away trying to do the eject. But if I press and hold it, it'll then finish the eject. What it is doing, bizarrely, is it's running the heads. I've got weighting on there. Which sort of suggests due, but I'm sure it isn't. I think it is just literally, it's not unlacing. But I'm sure the first time I tried this, it did actually stop when I ejected, and it's now not doing that. So maybe it is just a deck fault. Okay. Well, I think my next plan is to take off the top loading system, I think, and we'll just have a look. Let's take the power off. Just have a look what's going on underneath. So interestingly, the screws on this side were loose. So I guess I have to eject it before I lift this off. How awful is it going to be getting this off? Oh. Okay. So let me just put these screws back in. So I removed that panel. I had to just move that panel out of the way just to get a bit more clearance. But I don't know whether me taking the screws out slackened it enough to. Where did that go? Slackened it enough to get the top loading system out. Oh, it's actually a bit of a fiddle to get it back, that's for sure. So I've been sort of playing about with the deck. It's sort of quite difficult without having a service manual to really work out what's going on. It's a pretty cool deck, to be fair, but relatively unique, I think, to this model. So, or this generation, which I think was fairly short-lived, to be fair. But one thing I am noticing is, I don't know what you can see on that arm there. It doesn't really show very well, but it is bent. You can see a bit of a bend just there. And I think that's part of the problem, because this assists with keeping the carriage down, but also it locks this in the eject position. Now, for some reason, I don't know whether that eject, whether it's supposed to do that. It goes so far and you've got to keep your hand on the eject button for it to come right the way out, so you don't accidentally eject a cassette. So if you just hit it, it will just partially eject and then relace if you knock it by mistake. Or, I don't know, is it supposed to do that? Or are you supposed to just be able to press eject and it does a full eject sequence and up comes the cassette? I suppose we'll find out in the fullness of time. But yes, that's a bit odd. And also the way it's not stopping running the motors when it gets to fully unlaced, which again is something a bit odd. And I'm sure I did get it that it wasn't doing that, but it's doing it now. So it's obviously not coming far enough back then. Somewhere, something isn't getting triggered. I'd say there's some sort of leaf switch or something. The other thing that's a bit interesting is the back tension band. You can see it's a little bit mangled there. And this is actually fouling this when it's in slack. I mean, at the moment it's laced, but when it's unlaced, this is sort of just fouling this slightly and sort of, yeah, causing issues. So that's interesting. I mean, it's fine, but it's just a bit odd. I don't know whether there's something odd going on there, or whether it's just the way it is and it will get a little bit mangled with use over time. But yeah, I mean, it's done a few years. So yeah, I'm going to pop off that circlip and I'm going to straighten this out as best I can, put it back in, and we'll take it from there. Then I've got to try and work out how I get the carriage on so it's properly located on these gears, because this seems to be fairly critical. Because when you're pushing this down, it's pushing this cam down. There's a loaded spring there with a cable which you can't really see, but there's a cable at the end of there. I can show you when it's in full eject. That sort of, so this is attached to a cable. It's a bit of string actually, I think. It comes around here, up here. There's a pulley down there somewhere. Can't really see any of this. You can just about make out the pulley there. So it goes around that pulley and then around this wheel here to tension for the eject mechanism. But there's also a cam, and this pushes that lever to lock the cam, and it basically locks the carriage down, but also unlocks this to allow the lacing to take place. So once it's fully laced, it's pushing against this. You can see there's a little bit of play there, which there shouldn't be, but that should help keep the carriage down. So yeah, and it also locks the tape down actuator. So that's what senses when a cassette goes down in the carriage, and this comes back and locks it. There's a little step on the actual actuator. I didn't quite make that out, probably not. Again, I'll show you when it's in eject. But yeah, so I'm going to pull this off with it laced, because this is actually sort of loose. Yeah, you see there's still some movement there. So that's pushing into this plastic cam now. There's a gap in the cam which you can just about make out maybe. All of this is very difficult to show. I could probably show it moving. There. So you can see that moving into the cam. And you can see it's just turning the cam and locking it. Just locking the carriage down. So yeah. So anyway, I'll get this off, and yeah, I should be able to do that okay. And we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. Yeah, so just to further sort of point out the bend, or the effect of the bend, this is actually, I've just unlaced it slightly, and it's actually this is actually popped over the top of the lacing ring, and I'm sure it shouldn't be doing that. It should be riding against the lacing ring pretty much the whole way. So yeah, there's obviously something quite wrong there. But anyway, I'll straighten it out and we'll see if it makes any difference. Yeah, so you can see this is really quite bent. And I think distorted as well. I think it should be running at an angle, so it goes relative to the lacing ring, but it's almost like it's going flat against it. It's just not running right at all. So it needs to be pulled down, and then this needs to be straightened out. So this wheel will then run at an angle against the lacing ring. So I'm going to try and achieve that. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, let's crack on. Well, I think that looks better. It's a bit deceptive because obviously when you look at it from certain angles it still looks wrong, but everything looks relatively parallel now and relatively straight. I mean, obviously we've got the angle on the actual roller itself, which relative to the lacing ring. So I suppose put it back on to see if that's improved things at all. So that seems to be running a lot better. So this, now it's straight, is properly against the lacing ring, and this actually locks the carriage down, makes sure it's completely down, and now it doesn't foul. I've got to press eject while I do that. It doesn't foul the lacing ring. It's now running where it should. You can see there it's going to end up landing where, well, it's home position. So in fact, I should be able to power this up and just test it. Okay. Yeah, now you see it does still do the stop. Is it supposed to do that? What triggers that? And it's still running on. Seems to be something here that's causing it. Now if I turn it off, turn it back on, it's fine. So push the cassette in, that's fine. I'm guessing it won't play. Yeah, so I'm going to try and work out what's going on there. I do wonder if it's something to do with mechanically something else is not quite in the right place. It just seems odd what's going on under here, but it's almost too quick. I almost need to do a slow-mo. Record it unlacing and then do a slow-mo. I may well do that. Just see what moves and where and how and why, to try and work out what exactly is going on. I mean, that's obviously correct now, and the deck is locked. That top loading system's locked. But yeah, interesting. Interesting, just trying to work it out without breaking anything, because that's the other thing. You don't want to be forcing anything or bending anything that might cause issues. So there are adjustments. I can see an adjustment there, an adjustment there for the brake. No, for the idler, I think that is actually. And yeah, and there's an optocoupler under there as well. You can just see, make out the red LED. Because I wondered if it was an optocoupler problem, and it may well be an optocoupler problem. I know it's not end sensors because I'm pressed fast forward and I can I'll go into rewind, and then this one, which is out of the way at the moment. So the end sensors work fine. So I know it's not those. Could be the optocoupler, the sensor side maybe. I did check the beam is getting broken by the spool in case there was any spaces missing or anything strange had happened with the actual assembly itself that the optocoupler's on. But yeah, it is getting broken by the slats in the spool there. You can see them there. So yeah, a bit of a mystery. What's going on with playback and eject? But I mean, it's lacing fine, it's unlacing fine. Depending, I'm still not convinced about that unlace. It's weird. Yeah, so it's nothing to do with this top. I'd say it's underneath, if anywhere. And it stops at the same place. There's a mark there. When it reaches there, it just laces back up, unless you're keeping your hand on this, but that doesn't seem right. And the fact that you have to keep your hand on it, and then it doesn't stop at the full unlace, to me says there's an issue. Like I say, probably underneath the deck. But anyway, let's carry on investigating. I'm starting to really think the optocoupler is the issue with the playback and record as well, mainly because if I press fast forward, I would expect the counter to move up, because I'm sure it'll be using that optocoupler to pick up the pulses for the counter. Rewind, I'm going to do it for the sake of argument, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of optocoupler there. So it's all on the take-up spool, which makes sense because you'd want to sense if that stops in playback. That's when you're most likely to have an issue, so you'd want it to stop. Yeah, so it doesn't spill tape out everywhere and just keep on playing. So yeah, it makes sense to have it on that, but obviously we've got no counter, so yeah, I think we might have a bad optocoupler, and I mean, maybe something isn't plugged in, but I doubt it because I can see the red glow of the LED on the one side of it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that is actually faulty. Just had another thought. That's why it's not unlacing properly, because it's looking for the spool to take up the tape by the time it gets to there, and it's not picking up any pulses, so it goes, right, I'm going to relace. And probably that's why it just keeps on going, because the logic gets confused if you hold it down so it does fully eject. Just gets confused, and then you reset it and it's fine. But yeah, that makes sense. So it probably is just the optocoupler causing all those issues now. Yeah, so let's investigate. So the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is actually have a look at the optocoupler from above. I think ultimately I'm going to have a go at it from underneath, but let's take the spool off. Hopefully this will be as straightforward as it looks, which is just literally undo the screw. There's a washer in there as well, which I have to just make sure we don't lose. The brake goes free. And yeah, so that's sprung out of the way, that's fine. So I just moved it to the other side because of course I couldn't really see it. It's quite in shadow anyway, despite all the lighting. Let's fire this up. I think we should be okay to do that. I'll just put the counter on, and I would have thought even with no function at all, I should get a count on the counter. Of course, I can't see the counter very well. We just about make out the digits there at bottom left, but nothing is happening. Yeah, so that's... I'm pretty confident that that optocoupler's bad. I can see at the top of a screw there as well, so it is going to be from underneath. But I thought it was just interesting to have a look from the top, really, and just to see if there was anything contaminating it. But there isn't. So yeah, so this side is the LED and this side is the sensor, if you like. Okay, I'll put the spool back on, and we shall have a look. Let's just check these bearings. Yeah, bearings are good. I have to say, it is. The more I work on this, or the more I look at it, the more I like this machine. And it really was quite something in its time. Given what else was, I missed some washers. Some washers came off the bottom of the spool. Because these will be critical as well for spacing. I don't want to miss any of those out. Okay, so move the cassette out the way, and I need to tip the machine up, and I'm going to do it on that side, not this side, because on this side you've got the PCB and these plastic latches, which are already a bit squashed. I hope I didn't do that, but anyway, I didn't realise. Whereas the other side is metal. It's just all metal. So that's obviously the way to do it, is to put it on this side. Yeah, it's certainly not very stable. I'm almost tempted to turn it upside down. I might do that. I should put it on its top, because it's so unstable. Let's put this back in. Magic. Right, let's turn it over. I'll do it, flip it this way. Okay, and already got one screw out. Right, so optocoupler assembly is down here. Probably not going to be able to see too much, but a little bit of cable management for 2 micro switches as well, and the cable management is held down with a screw. It's very tight. So there it is. It looks to come around somewhere to the front by the looks. Densely populated panel, double-sided print. It's very unusual for its time. Quite impressive. Yeah, remote control, of course. Remote control unit, which is pluggable. It's really cool. It does look like the Syscon is all on the front here, sort of buried away on a panel. So that's quite cool. I just think the opto's gone. So yeah, okay. I suppose I ought to see if I've got another one, or if not, if I can source one. Don't know quite what it is. Doesn't seem to be any real numbers on it, but anyway, yeah. See what I can find out. So just testing this, and it actually tests okay. So if I put the probes across, I can't remember which way round they go actually. Take it away, bring it close, take it away, bring it close. I'm in trouble with keeping the probes there. I'm just not making very good contact. So the optocoupler itself is fine. It's how it's being detected, obviously. So, oh, Syscon issues, interesting. So that should be interesting to see what the output is from this actually in the machine when I make or break the contacts. So we'll try that next. Okay, so let's give this a go. Hopefully we should be okay upside down with, pretty sure there's nothing underneath. So we have a voltage there. Well, it ain't doing much. .68. So the LED's gone weak. Yeah, the LED's gone weak. It's bad LED. Well, that's interesting. I'll say it's a bad LED. It probably is a bad LED. Because the supply voltage is the same to both sides, so... Well, 13 volts. Who'd have thunk? Okay, so we're doing 13. So... 15 volts. I'm reading this upside down. 14.95. So 15 volts, a 2 volt drop. Interesting. So I was right. It was the optocoupler assembly. It's just not the pickup. It's the actual LED itself. Okay, I'll have a rummage around. I'll probably make something up. Might even use a surface mount, and I'll take it from there. Let's crack on. Well, I've run out of time. I had flu this week as well, which really hasn't helped with making this video. But I have sourced another optocoupler. I'm going to change both the pickup and the actual LED. The polarity is reversed, so I've had to rewire it. At the moment, the LED itself is actually pointing the wrong way. So it'll be okay for testing, which I will do in part 2. But I do have another LED on the way. Any light source will do. I did test it with my just with my magnifying glass with the white LEDs, and yeah, it's absolutely fine. It'll work. So yeah, that's some progress. The original optocoupler unit, it's actually glued in, so I'm going to have to clean all that out and repurpose this casing for those. We'll see how that goes. The one out of the Philips V2000 is obviously integral to a whole plastic assembly, and yeah, you can get these out by just pushing out the tabs that go over the sort of the lenses, and they pop out once you've desoldered them, so it's pretty easy. But yeah, so lots more to come on this machine, and I'll have a look at this as well, the battery leakage, but there's a lot I want to cover on this machine still. Such great design ideas and just so well implemented. And for 1980, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that date, but I'm sure it's 1980 these came out. It's really so advanced, way ahead of any other Betamax, well, pretty much any machine really of the time. But yeah, we'll delve deeper into that as well, because it's actually quite interesting just how well these are made. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, look forward to part 2. Either be next week or the week after, depending on how well I get on with the part situation. But basically in part 2, I want this working, and yeah, just really want to see it just perform. So with that, see you in another video. Bye for now.